What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we got a bunch of Yamahas in here. So this is for a customer, this one is mine, and that's another one for a customer. So just so you know what we got going on, we will be doing my stage 2 on this. This one is getting completely torn apart in a future video, and another video you're going to see this Yamaha. We've got the engine out of it because that blew up. A lot of technical details in that video, but for today we got to put the stage 2 on this. This one, the customer brought it to me last year to do my stage 1 kit. It's a little bit more than like Riva stage 1 plus. I consistently get like 84 on GPS out of these, and he wanted to beat his buddies. Well, his buddy also has my stage 1 kit, so he couldn't beat him. So he brought it back a little over a month ago. I did a Lucky 13 pump cone. I did some custom impeller pitching on it to get a better hole shot and a little bit more top speed. And he didn't even ride it. It's been sitting there for a month and a half, didn't even ride the ski, and brought it back, and now he wants to do 90 miles per hour. With what I've got going on with this, we should get about 90 out of it. We've got a Fizzle intercooler. I give my customers the option to either do Fizzle or the Riva. The Fizzle is faster, but I do prefer the Riva mounting if you're going to beat the hell out of it. That's not a problem with this ski, so we're going to go with the Fizzle, get a little bit more speed. We do have the Riva titanium valve retainers. This is extremely important because if you do all of this stuff, you're going to make more horsepower and turn more RPM. The only way to do that safely is with these. Now, you could always put a lower rev limiter in it, but then you're costing yourself speed. If you don't know how to pitch an impeller, you're going to be on the rev limiter, which isn't good for the engine, and it's not good for more speed. And if you can pitch an impeller to bring it off the rev limiter, you're just going to be a lot slower than what you potentially could with these. So this is going to allow us to rev it over 9,000 RPM and really get some speed out of it. And then we've got the Pro Series cooling kit. This is another thing where I see people don't want to install this because they think it's going to run too cold. Yeah, it might take it a little bit longer to get up to operating temp, but eventually it's going to be too hot. Even with the Pro Series cooling kit, the engine temps get hot enough and the oil gets hot enough to where I see like 30 pounds of oil pressure at 9,000 RPM with the stock oil pump. That's not good. We're going to be addressing that on this ski. We're going to pull the motor out, build the motor. We got a different oil pump that's going in it and a few other goodies, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, this is definitely necessary. I would not be worried about running too cold with this, because even with this, on this ski, I've ran way too hot. Now, for this stage 2 kit, he did my stage 1 already, like I said, but he did a couple other things. This is not the way I do the breather. That's not my air intake. So I do it a little bit differently, but for the most part, I did the rest of the work. Very, very clean ski. It's ceramic coated. He had this powder coated. He had the nozzles powder coated. It honestly looks really, really good. So we're going to do our best to not put a single scratch in it. So can't put anything in the footwells, nothing. Got clear workbench, clear benches over there. Nothing's going in the footwells to try to scratch this. And we're not even going to attempt to work on it with the valve cover on. Don't want to scratch all this guy's pretty stuff. We're going to pull this off. And the valve cover's got to come off anyways to do the retainers. While it's not a lot of parts going on, it is a lot of work. So the exhaust manifold has to come off. Intake manifold has to come off. The supercharger has to come off in order to get the coolant lines routed properly and the old intercooler out and the new one back in. And then the jet pump also has to come out for the cooling modifications. Enough of that talking, let's get to work on this ski. P-strip, I've got the retainers in. Now we can start putting it back together with the new intercooler. I do have to put the cams on, but before I do get the cams in, I just want to show you a few things here. So when you pull the lifter buckets off, be sure to put them all in the same orientation, have the shims that go underneath the lifter buckets all going back in the same spot, because each valve is shimmed from the factory. If you mix them all up, clearance is going to be off, and it could be too tight, which would cause leaking valves and low compression, or it could not be tight enough. And then y'all take a look at this, right? I know I have something wrong with me. Maybe it's OCD, I've never been to a doctor, maybe I need to go and get on some kind of medication because I've got some little quirks. But on these retainers, I put all the labels facing the same way. You'll never see it, and they're probably gonna move while the engine's running. But if I put these all crooked in different ways, it would literally drive me nuts. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. So as stupid as it is, I guess it's just one little attention to detail that I do. They're all perfectly straight with each other. Another thing, if you're doing this yourself, you do have to pressurize each cylinder so the valves don't fall through into the combustion chamber, and you don't want to put too much pressure. So beforehand, I get this engine at top dead center. That way when I'm putting the cams back in, it should be spot on and close enough before I triple check the cam timing. But if you put too much pressure in the cylinder, the engine is going to move and you won't be at top dead center. And then you'll have to find somebody to hold up the timing chain so you can spin the motor over while watching a dial indicator tool to get it back at top dead center. You want to keep the pressures as low as you possibly can. On this one, I only used about 25, 30 pounds of pressure in the cylinder to hold the valves up, and that's all that was needed on this one. Some of the retainers and keepers do get a little stuck with that low of a pressure and it wants to open the valve, and if that's the case, just whack the tool very gently and it should pop right off, and then you'll be able to get the keepers off the retainer. So that's just a little tip for if you're doing this at home. Now we'll get the fizzle intercooler in, button up the cooling kit. Got the cams installed, the cam caps have been torqued down, and the cam timing has been set. Now initially I already had it at top dead center. I installed the cams based on it being at top dead center, but even afterwards I triple checked it. I spun the motor 3 different times just to make sure we're at top dead center on cylinder number 1, and you can see the timing mark there is perfect and the timing mark there is perfect. So this is all ready to be put back together now. The hard part is over with, and we just got to button up a few things. It looks like a lot, but probably within an hour and a half we'll be ready for a start. I skipped over a few steps and it's all done. We're ready to go to the water now, and this guy's gonna try it out. He says he likes fast stuff, but he doesn't think this is gonna be fast, so we'll see. Fizzle intercooler's in. We did the Revo Racing fuel rail, which is not necessary, but it does look a lot better for stage 2. And we're ready to go to the water. Now, this should be right at 90 mile an hour on GPS in perfect conditions, so flat water, 75, 80 degrees, and less than a half a tank of fuel. It is completely filled up to the top, so I'd be lucky if we get like 88, 89 on GPS today. So we'll see. It's still gonna pull really hard, and this guy, I don't know, what do you think? Is it gonna be fast, or is it gonna come back for more? So let's get it on the trailer, go to the water, and see what it's gonna run. it's a little rough out here today, so we couldn't get a good top speed number, and this guy filled it up all the way with gas. So I got out of it on GPS. Dash was, no, did you get higher than?
I didn't even look down.
Didn't even look. With less fuel and good conditions, of course, it's going to go faster, but you got to feel the pull of it.
Yeah.
Was that worth it or what?
100%.
Worth it.
100%.
So stage 2 is no bullshit, worth every penny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And now he's coming back for stage 3, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe? All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want me to do this to your ski, reach out to me and we'll get it done.